on. We're
I
live.
have too many mobile devices going on at the same time. Okay, hold on. Let me just go back there. Hi. Oh, you have such a nice ceiling. Can you tilt it at all more so that, oh, that's way better. It also, you know, makes our necks look better when it's tilted down
That's
this
true.
way. Not
Angle
that
is
I
everything.
want to stress you out, Carolyn, but I'm killing time here as people come and join the party. I know because I am a Facebook expert, right, Eden?
You are.
All I know is go like this at the beginning, which is take your time, introduce yourself, and oh, there's a few people that are starting to join. How come we started right in time? Is that like you? Are you a really on time person?
Never on time.
Oh, really?
No.
Okay, that's why we're friends.
Mm-mm.
Hello, everybody. I'm Erica Ehm, and this is Carolyn Ray. You better know her because the page that you're on right now is hers. So the reason why we're here today is partly for me to taunt Carolyn in front of you, and for me to have some fun because she is very uncomfortable at this moment, and partly to introduce you to a really special person who I hope will play as big a role in your life as she does in mine. So Carolyn, should we tell them now, or if we wait a little bit, why don't we just wait till a few more people join?
Sure.
And you can tell me, you said that your face was peeling. I told you I was going to taunt you.
Okay,
Why is your face
I just
peeling?
came back from Key West, and of course forgot to pack sunscreen, which
They do sell it in stores.
They do, and forgot a few other things. In fact, I forgot all my clothes in the first hotel we stayed at, which is a wonderful thing to
But you
to do
run
as a
Journeywoman.
frequent traveler. I know.
How did you forget all your clothes?
I was distracted. It was the night after the zombie bike parade. We were looking forward to getting to the next place, and
Okay,
just forgot.
that's really funny. I actually have a reoccurring nightmare of doing something like that, which is louder. You want us to speak louder? Why don't you just bring this closer? Bring it closer. Come
Yeah,
closer.
we're probably blocking the microphone.
Oh, look, so that looks way better.
More of us.
Come closer. Come even closer.
You can see my sunburn.
Ah, that's better. We're so high tech. You see, Carolyn, this is the stuff that you're going to have to master. So when someone can't hear you on a Facebook Live, you push the thing closer.
Good to
Good?
know.
Okay.
Got it.
So for those of you who have joined us, hello, I'm Erica Ehm, and this is Carolyn Ray, the new owner of, I was going to say of Facebook, but that's not actually quite
I don't want
accurate.
that job.
Oh, I have to move in now that we, she is the new owner of Journeywoman, and this, it officially occurred, when did we drink champagne at Soho House?
I think it was the end of June, and then we announced in the middle of August.
Yeah, so that time between when we drank champagne and when we announced was really difficult.
Yes.
Because
It's hard to keep a secret.
yeah, and it was also people were asking me, you know, people were saying like, what's going to happen with Journeywoman, and we both agreed that we weren't going to say anything until the right time.
Yeah.
Something about Carolyn that you should know. You can talk about yourself in a few minutes, but
Okay.
I'm going to do the
Should
talking.
I sit back?
Yeah. So Carolyn and I met at a conference for what was it? Influential. What was it?
Women entrepreneurs.
Yeah, women entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And I met Carolyn, and I was like, "Holy crap! This woman is a force." You know that. I've told you that many times.
You've said that. Yeah.
And one of the things that I've watched, she and I are in many ways very different. Carolyn is incredibly creative and passionate. However, she understands how to play in the more adult world, if you will, of PR and communications. You'll tell everybody about your job
Sure,
before,
yeah.
but so she's very organized about everything and likes things just so. Not that it gets,
Yeah, except
That
I
way.
forget my clothes when I travel. But
Yeah.
yes.
but that means, okay, so you want to get my feeling on that? You're changing, you're evolving, and you're living in the moment. And before, living in the corporate world, which you recently have sort of given up. It's not my daughter, so we're good. because she texts me and then I have to.
Yeah.
Now that you're looking at your.
I have a tattoo that says "Dance in the Rain," which is all about living in the moment to remind myself of that.
And so that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
I think this is very exciting for me, watching you, a friend of mine, evolve as a person. So for those of you who are watching us right now, Carolyn took over Journeywoman, which is a huge commitment, and you didn't plan it. You didn't plan it at all. Do you want to, I know it's not on our list of questions, can I just throw out, put you on the spot?
Yeah, sure.
Can you explain to everybody, how did you end up becoming the owner of Journeywoman?
Well, Erica and I were actually having lunch one day, and I think you wanted to talk about marketing, and I wanted to talk about travel. And I was telling you about a trip I wanted to do to Spain, and she just got this look on her face, and I knew I was in trouble. And she said, you should buy my mother's website. And I said, Erica, I have a job, I'm good, I've got lots going on, have a business. And she said, no, I feel it. This is the right thing. So I think in some ways we had this discussion for a couple weeks. I kind of went home a little shell shocked that night, and I just said, oh, Erica had this crazy idea, and then the more we started to think about it, the more we started to talk about it, I realized that this was an incredible platform for women. The work that her mother did, creating this amazing community, and how we could have influence in the market and help get people of all ages out traveling and experiencing self-discovery, and all the things that Journeywoman has stood for so long would be an unbelievable opportunity. So it is challenging right now running two separate businesses, but I think in some ways Erica knew I had this desire, I think ever since I was little, to be a writer and a journalist, and so somehow this all kind of came together in a very strange way, but it's just been amazing.
Yeah, and it's funny because you were talking about empowering women to travel more, and also the importance of travel, and those are two things that I know are top of the list for you, which is why I kind of went, wait a second, this is, first of all, I know you're awesome, and I know that your morals and your values are very much in line with mine. You are the real deal. You're a true friend. You're very loyal. You work with women. You really work with women.
I do, yeah.
She was writing a book on leadership for
Still
women. Yeah. So I just knew that there aren't a lot of people who can carry on my mother's legacy, because my mother was pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And you are amazing. So I really do think it's a great fit. And I also am noticing, well, I could talk a little bit about that, but I've been watching her do her thing, and I'm pretty blown away.
Yeah.
I actually didn't understand the power that is Carolyn. So you mentioned that
Takes
you
the
have,
village.
you have two jobs.
Yes.
So let's go back, and who is Carolyn? For those of you,
Okay.
for people who are watching, I know you, but who is this person who now owns Journeywoman?
So I am Canadian. I was born in Canada, but I grew up in Florida, in a very small town, led a very sheltered life. And I think my only association with really being Canadian, other than Bryan Adams, was that I had grandparents here. So we would come and visit my parents' grandparents in the summer at holidays, and I'd go to the CN Tower and that kind of thing. But I never really knew what it meant to be Canadian, because I grew up in this very American, patriotic kind of place. And one thing my grandmother did was she gave me a lot of books about Canada. So I was also a bit of a bookworm. I love to read. I still do. And so all these, Anne of Green Gables and all these books about Canadians, and looking back on it, I realized how many of those books were about young Canadian women, which I didn't realize until this morning, actually, that she was kind of feeding me these these wonderful stories of what it meant to be Canadian, what it meant to be a woman, and that was kind of my association with Canada. And then I didn't move here until I was probably 20 or 21, and
you were so old.
well, you're kind of formed by then, right? But I spent a year in Switzerland at a school there, and that's the first time I really traveled. Was going from Florida to Switzerland, and spending time in cities around Europe and understanding, what was going on in the rest of the world. I mean, it was very kind of scary time. I have some very close friends from that time that we had this incredible shared experience together, and of being kind of put overseas for a year. And then after that, I went to Ottawa, which was even colder than Switzerland, I think, and have been here ever since. So it's always been interesting for me thinking of myself as both a Canadian and an American, and really being able to understand, both sides of issues and have a different perspective.
Okay, but a little bit more. Okay, you were born there, and then what happened? You came here when you were 20.
Yeah.
And you fill in the gap between then and the person who got Journeywoman. Did you go to school?
I went to Carleton University. I thought I was going to be a journalist, and I ended up doing poli-sci.
It's funny because I went to Ottawa U and studied communications.
I know you did.
That's so funny.
And then I went to a college for 2 years and got a degree in PR. Still didn't know what that was. Had no clue what I was going to do. I met my husband, now my ex-husband there, and
in Ottawa.
And at school, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we were, and his amazing family, who I adore, and then after university and college, started my own business, and worked mostly with the government for a few years.
In PR,
marketing, communications,
Mm-hmm.
writing. I worked for a time for Canada Communication Group, which publishes all the government's books, and did all the marketing for them. So and I had some really amazing female mentors there that helped me learn how to write and think differently. And then we came to Toronto, and I started to work in a small PR firm, and that was an interesting time because I think I was 27 when I was promoted to being a vice president in charge of 15 people.
See what I mean?
Running IBM Canada's business, which was one of the largest accounts in the country at the time, and having no idea how to manage people or what to do, and really having no strong female role models either. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was a time when women were expected to be kind of tough and not very nice. So, but I didn't enjoy that, and so I was always looking for a different way to lead and to work with people. I mean, my boss told me you would never be friends with the people you work with. He said you don't have lunch with the people you work with. Like, it was just a very strange, introduction to being a female leader. So at some point in that, I had a wonderful daughter, Alex, who just turned 19, and
same age as my. Is her birthday the same as mine?
It is the same as yours.
and she's a month younger than my son, who's also 19, and they will get married.
That'll be our next Facebook Live.
That was part of the.
I don't think they've even met yet.
Right,
we'll
but
see.
when we signed the contract for Journeywoman, there was Schedule B.
Yeah. I didn't see that actually. But Alex is amazing. She's at Western University now. And I became a single parent when she was 3, and decided to. Her dad is still very much here, but that was another kind of scary moment in time when I decided it was better for me and for her to not be married, and there's been some interesting.
So you worked for
moments.
You worked for a PR company, and that you stayed in the world of PR. Am I right?
I did for a few years, but what I really got into was more strategic consulting. So I started to work for a brand consulting firm, and I kind of bounced back a little bit with PR and branding. But my real love is the branding side and working with leaders to help them develop their narratives and compete more effectively in the market. So less the execution and more the strategy. We're kind of the McKinsey of branding, if you will. And I ended up leading the office in Canada for about 5 years, and then left and started my own business. So.
And then I disrupted your entire
And then this
life,
happened.
and this happened. But what's interesting is the idea of branding and your abilities as a brander, if you will. I'm watching you put that into motion with Journeywoman. So it's been 3 months. How's it going for you since you've taken ownership?
Oh, listen, the community, all of you. I mean, it's been unbelievable. The day that we announced this, I think I responded to about 400 or 500 emails. All of the comments on Facebook and social media. It was in some ways a great relief. Even though I know that so many people were and still are grieving for Evelyn. Yeah. It was a really tremendous day, and even the sponsors that we've had for the newsletter, because we need those sponsors to put the newsletter out. Most of them have stayed with us and are continuing on, and so it's been an incredible first 3 months. And as Erica, as you're saying, I brought my team in to help with the repositioning and the modernizing and looking at the Journeywoman brand and what do we do with it and how do we evolve it, and knowing that the website is circa 1997 and how do we make it all more flexible and easier to do things on. So I should also mention we have this amazing webmistress, Melissa, who we couldn't do this without, because Melissa, she can go right into the deep programming.
Because Melissa worked with my mom.
Yes.
And she works from home. She just had a baby, her second, right?
That's right, yeah.
And she just does her thing from Port Hope, Ontario.
Yep. And I want Journeywoman to be a platform for women-owned businesses too. So everyone working on this right now is a women-owned business, which is important to me. Because we are a place that is, for women, and so it needs to be by women.
That's so weird, because my company, my YMC, is written by moms for moms. Same thing, right? It's so weird. So my mother was a pretty impressive person, and I would say impressive is an understatement. It is incredible what she has done on her own.
It is.
I mean, she had Melissa do a few things, but like when she died, she was 79 and she 55,000 Twitter followers. I think she had more Twitter followers than me, which did not sit well with me. I told her that. She knew. So has it been a challenge for you to extend my mom's legacy?
I think we're still, of course it has, and
that's the right answer.
Yes, and I've been really in listening mode and learning mode over the last 3 months, trying to meet with as many Journeywomen as I can, and look for opportunities to ask questions, and which is what you've been seeing on a lot of the social
surveys,
media.
That's been great.
Yeah, so it's a bit of us getting to know each other, and then thinking about how do we take what Evelyn did and bring that to the next level, and continue to develop it. I mean, the world of travel has gotten a lot more complicated since she started all of this, and there are many websites and women's travel websites, which is great. I think a rising tide lifts all boats and all of that. But I think for Journeywoman, we have a really interesting point of difference in our authenticity, and so there are a lot of decisions that I'm making that will reflect that. A lot of what she did, which is always about being real and looking for the truth and not just accepting things at face value, and that goes through to the content, to the way that we accept advertising, All those things are things we're looking at now, because I think it's hard for people to know who to trust, and I
Yes.
want Journeywoman to be a place where you can trust what you're reading.
I don't have my glasses on, but I can actually see that people are leaving comments. Like Erica says hi to Carolyn, which is not me. I'm not talking
Yeah.
to myself. Eden says something, says hi. Tom says hi, which is great. Alyssa is watching. Sharon is watching. It's really
That's
nice.
right.
So those are
Thank
your
you.
people are watching. And also for those people who are watching, feel free to throw questions, challenge Carolyn, or ask questions. You really do look like Princess Di.
Oh my goodness.
That just freaked me out because I can see you on the screen. Sorry, I got a little distracted
Little aside
there.
here.
But yeah, feel free to. Okay, yeah, that's good. So keep on sending us your questions, and I will pass them over to Carolyn. Do you want to take one? here?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Okay. This is from Twilight. Does Journeywoman include all female identifying persons, including trans women?
I don't see why not. I think we're, part of what I'm trying to understand now is we have, even within our subscriber database, we have 55,000 people subscribed. We're going to be we did one survey, which we got tremendous response on, and thank you to everyone who did that. We're doing another one next week to get deeper into understanding who is a subscriber and what your needs are. So by all means, I think it's traditionally been an older audience. I'd like to expand that, and I'd like to deepen it. So we're here to serve you. That's the whole point.
Right, and I think that it's interesting to note, Twilight, that once she understands who the audience is, and you can serve them, but you can't serve an audience that you don't know.
Yep.
Who
That's
wants
the
to be
first
part
rule.
of the party, right? Who wants to come to the party?
That's right. Yeah.
So that's great. All right, so here's a super blunt question. Okay, I know that you said yes when I said ultimately, you should run. But why did you say yes? I mean, it's a huge. You don't really know how to do this, right? You haven't had a lot of experience. You have never run a website like this or a platform. Why did you say yes?
Well, that's a good question.
Thank you.
I think that
You're asking yourself, why did I do
why
this?
did I? Well, so I've already said I love to travel. I love storytelling. I love writing.
Yeah.
I love to do anything that is in support of women. I think the other thing is, when you reach a certain point in your career, you always have to think about how to reinvent yourself. And if you get too complacent in what you're doing, which I will admit, I've been doing this same work for almost 30 years. So, I thought, well, maybe it's time to challenge myself and make myself uncomfortable again and learn. So,
You're uncomfortable?
I would say I'm not uncomfortable, but I'm learning things that I have never learned before.
Mm-hmm.
Taking this website and transitioning it, learning about SEO, learning about how to plan trips, learning about photography, and
How to pack your suitcase
How
so
to
you don't forget your clothes the next day.
yeah, all these things are, they kind of keep you fresh. And if you get too stuck, then that doesn't make you a very fun person to be with. So I just thought, what? Why not? Let's shake it up a little bit and try something completely different.
It's interesting that you also talk a lot about how travel is that for a lot of people, that it makes you uncomfortable. Can you talk a little bit about that? The connection between self-growth
Sure,
and
yeah.
travel?
I mean, of all the stories I saw about your mother, I think what blew me away is how many of them were related to that idea of how not only did Evelyn inspire people to travel, but she inspired this journey of self-discovery. So whether it was giving them the confidence and courage to do something they hadn't done, or push their own limits, like that's to me what real travel is all about. It's anybody can get on a plane and go somewhere, but when you go somewhere that makes you uncomfortable and you have this kind of transformation, I think that's a very exciting thing, because the more we learn about our own sense of generosity and empathy and respect and all the things that you learn when you travel, those are qualities the world needs, and those are qualities we need to teach our children and role model to other people. So I think to me that's what travel is about. It's not just the act of going somewhere. It's about choosing to go to a place that will somehow transform you in a different way.
You can keep on sending us questions. Just leave them in the comments, and we have an entire team standing by to answer or to take your questions and give them to us. But we're not wearing our glasses because they reflect the light. Right.
I don't have glasses.
Oh, rub it in.
Yeah.
I do. So you mentioned our daughters.
Our daughters.
You have your daughter who will be my daughter-in-law at one point. So she's really awesome.
I wonder if Alex is listening to this.
She is an awesome kid. So tell me about the relationship that you have with your daughter.
She's just, Alex is the most amazing young lady. She will go anywhere with me, and she, when we were, when she was 3 or 4, and we were going through this change in our lives, I kind of quit my job actually, and cashed in my RSP, and we got on a plane and we went to Europe for about 6 weeks. And she was so little then, and I look back on it and wonder, what was I thinking, dragging her over to London and Paris and Amsterdam and all the places that we went. But she was a great sport about it. She doesn't remember any of it because, the Eiffel Tower, the Seine, or the Notre Dame, she doesn't remember any of those things, but what she does remember is getting stuck in an elevator in the Paris train station because my bag was so big it wouldn't fit in the door, and down she went. But people helped me get her back.
Wait a second. She got stuck in an elevator without you.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, she was afraid of elevators for a few years after that. But yeah, the bag got, this is when I didn't know how to travel. I would go on these trips and take these enormous bags, and and here we were in the train station, and she went in the elevator, the doors shut. I had the bag stuck on the bars that wouldn't let the bag in the elevator, and there were eight or nine rows of elevators going. The Paris train station is, I don't know how many floors, and down she went, and I freaked out, and people came and they went and found her and brought her back to me. So
merci.
Yes. Thank you, France.
Merci, Paris.
But
wow.
But she she's willing to do anything and go anywhere. We went to Kenya last August, which is another thing we have in common with which was because of you that we went, because of Josh's photographs.
My son's photographs. Yeah.
And that was, I was just so proud of her in that experience. How, every day on those trips, you laugh and you cry and laugh and cry all day, and because you're so grateful and you're so in awe of others and the children there. But it transformed her, I think, to the point that she chose at school to do women's studies. She's doing global development. I think she's thinking about what her role can be in the world, which is what I think my job is as a mother, is to empower her and prepare her for all the things that the next generation is going to have to work on that we have not done such a great job.
Is she going to participate in Journeywoman?
I would like her to. Yeah, she's great at research. She's great at trends and social and technology, and these are all the things she's taking at school. So yeah, I'd love her input as we go along. And she's already, I think, put Journeywoman on her LinkedIn bio and asked me for business cards. So I think she's eager to play a role in this. I'm not sure we figured out exactly what that will be yet, given that she's in school, but she will definitely be my travel buddy for sure.
Okay, questions here. Erica Rose asked, what is your best piece of advice for inexperienced travelers?
Erica Rose, I just want to thank you for always liking everything and always commenting on everything that we do. So I know your name. Thank you for
Great.
that. What was the question? Inexperienced
Yeah.
travelers?
Best piece of advice for inexperienced travelers.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, one of the things I'm thinking about is some kind of mentoring capability within Journeywoman for older women who have a lot of experience traveling to mentor people who don't. And
Well, that could be sometimes younger women have more experience traveling and older people.
sure,
So
yeah,
I would say that's not
could be.
there's so bossy, but
But there's also a lot of women who've written me who say they can't travel anymore. And
interesting.
And so I wonder if there's a role in that for, I mean, it's not about age at all. It's just about what would you like to share, and if so, how, or give back to these younger people that are just learning how to travel. So, I take a lot of Alex's friends on trips, and their parents don't always want to travel. So I always try and round up a bunch of girls and bring them
You're the
along.
cool Okay, another question. Roseanne Young asks, are the Journeywoman luggage tags still available?
Oh yes, so this is what we're referring to. I love these, and I've actually got this on my bag when I travel now. And we are definitely looking at this as a really iconic Journeywoman memorabilia. So we're looking at a whole bunch of merchandise, and I won't give it away yet, but this is definitely one that's on the list. Yes.
I won't give
Love
it
it.
away yet. Oh, interesting. Okay. From Alyssa Salmon, what part of this new adventure has been your favorite so far? What are you most looking forward to?
I think my favorite thing so far has been hearing from people in the community and getting to know all of you better. As I said, I've been invited to some people's homes to meet with them and have coffee and learn about them, and so I think it's great. I just love meeting new people, and I'm very curious, so I want to hear what you're interested
So
in. I think
you're
that's
kind
been
of-
the best part.
Are you asking for invitations around the
Yes.
country right now?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, not around the country, I mean around the world.
I'll go anywhere.
So,
yeah.
like, if you live in Spain or Holland or
Yeah,
Hawaii,
we're going. So I'm going to Florida on Friday,
Again?
and
Must
with
be
Alex,
nice.
and then I'm going to Puerto Rico in December for a few weeks, and so if anyone's in Puerto Rico, that would be fabulous. We're going to travel all around the country, and we're working with the Puerto Rico Tourism Board to profile women-owned businesses. So they're setting me up with tours and restaurants and hotels and all kinds of places where we can go, and farms where we can go and meet women-owned businesses and profile them on Journeywoman.
That's
So,
great.
yeah.
Caitlin says, I'd really love to start traveling more on a budget. Do you have any budget-friendly tips?
That's a great question, and I think that is something that we're going to focus on more as we go forward. It's also expensive for solo travelers, right, to travel alone, because that's not the way that hotels are modeled at the moment. So I use a number of tools, and I've just recently started using Skyscanner just to see what. Airline prices seem to be going through the roof, and that's often an enormous expense. So the other thing I think we can get really good at is understanding credit cards and reward systems and point systems and how to travel for free, which I'd like to think I'm a bit of an expert on that, because I will leverage any kind of reward system to get free tickets.
Oh
which
yeah,
is
that's a
bit
people
of
would
what
love.
we-
So would you write about things like that?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
And
I'd
I
also
guess-
like to see if we could get some brands to offer Journeywomen discounts.
So if you can anybody write for you? If people, let's say someone is an expert on rewards, for example,
Yeah.
how does that work?
Well, we've updated our submission guidelines to give people a little guidance on what to write. We have an editor, Amanda, who is also amazing, a woman I worked with before, who is acting as our editor to help us stream content. But we're getting a lot of inbound articles, which are great, and trying to work with those people to post them. I think the problem at the moment is the website is difficult to work with. It is difficult for us to put content up. So I would like to see if we can kind of hold off a little bit on those articles until we have the right platform for it, because we can't really maximize them in the way that they should be.
Yeah.
So I mean, putting photographs on the website is challenging. All of those things, tagging, you know. So we have a lot of
It was
technology
literally
issues.
built, what,
I know.
25 years ago? Like,
I know.
It really.
It's a mystery.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I mean, in 1997, I think most of us were just figuring out how to get on email, and your mother had already created a website. I mean, it's incredible. So, but I would love to accept articles. Put it that way.
Right.
I think we just and you know, part of all of this is real articles written by real women. So, so you know, I'm not really interested in articles from agencies or people that are paying to. That's not at all the kind of thing that I'm interested in. I want articles about, you know, you may not be the greatest writer, but you have a great story to tell, and we'll work with you to bring that story and your expertise and your tips to life on the site.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Comment from Linda McCarty. I'm guessing that you know her because she said, "I've always admired Carolyn as a trailblazer. We can expect great things in this new chapter."
Oh, that's so nice. Thank you.
And then we have one from Meredith, and she said with a lot of exclamation points, "I'm in Taiwan. Come to see me."
I know. Hi, Meredith. She's one of the ones from the early days of working in the office. Yeah.
Wait, which office? Like you?
First job. My first job.
This is a colleague of yours.
Yeah.
Who now lives in Taiwan.
She does. Yeah. Although I think she's in Toronto right now, and she has not called me. So.
But no, she's in Taiwan.
She's living there now. Yeah.
Okay, cool. You have to go there.
Yeah, I know. We've been talking.
Talk about free travel.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Let me see my other questions. Oh yes. So a couple of weeks ago, I was invited to a boardroom with you, and there was probably 7 people around the table, maybe more, of super talented people, and everybody was showing their plans. You had editorial, and you had visuals and art direction. What are you most excited about in terms of what you're working on now?
Oh boy. Yeah, I mean, we're working on design for the new site. We're working on, I'll show you a little sample. But we're looking at different identity systems for Journeywoman. Right? And then I think the design is great, but the design's nothing without the content. So I think what I'm most excited about is the way that we're thinking about content, which is less about destination and more about, and it's not to say we won't do destinations at all, but it's more about the journey that you're on. And so I really love where we're going with our content, and my 2 Amandas are just doing an amazing job thinking about the kind of things that would be exciting and different and relevant, really.
Thematically, you're talking about.
Thematically, yeah. So we're trying to do something that's different, and we're trying to do something that the word that we often use is, if you can Google it and find it somewhere else, we don't want to do it. So we're thinking about how do we do something that is completely unique to Journeywoman.
Now, I would say that is sort of a good idea, but as someone who runs an online property for many years, I do think it's important, I feel, and I would love to hear what people think. I think it's important to also have some of that meat and potatoes, because you want to be found in the world of search. So when you search, like, you know, the 3 safest places for women to travel, if my mother hasn't already written about that, then you do want to have those kinds of practical, useful, short snippets. What do you guys think? I mean,
yes, I agree. I think it's
what do I know? I'm just the daughter.
I think it's more the structure, for it, than the and then how do you organize the content underneath it? So
Mhm.
I agree. I mean, the tips section of the website is by far the most visited from what we've
Oh,
seen so
interesting.
far, and so we're trying to publish and share those tips every Tuesday with Tip Tuesday.
Where do you share?
So we share them on social media every Tuesday, and they've all been submitted by people, and so keep those coming in. I've been getting a lot of them. And so we want to keep profiling all of the practical advice. We don't want to lose that because that's important. But I guess I'm just talking more about the kind of at the brand level and differentiation and how do we do something that doesn't look like everybody else.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. Okay, let me just, I have
Good.
another comment here from Rebecca Coven. If I wanted to submit content or I tend to forget to post or write anything down once I return from a trip. Then I forget the names of fabulous guides or restaurants and hotels, including favorite staff names.
That's a great question. We'll have to figure that out. And the other thing Rebecca may want to consider is when we have a Journeywoman notebook, then you can take some notes and keep track of things. But yes,
did you that just slip out by
just slipped
mistake?
out. Yeah.
So you're just basically you are feeding information throughout this whole conversation, so people do not stop watching.
Hopefully.
Are you going to slip some more?
We'll see. What are you going to
nuggets
ask
like
me?
that?
What
Okay,
other
let's see.
questions?
Okay. I know that you've got very strong views on the business model for Journeywoman. Many travel websites ask members to pay an annual subscription. Wait, don't leave. Hold on. Sometimes they're asked to join by paying a membership.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you plan to pay for modernizing the website and the costs associated with running a business and paying for your whole team?
Yeah, this is insanity.
Sorry, I know. I said buy my mom's website; it'll be awesome. And you're like, crap, it's expensive.
Yeah. So I think the model. I would say the long answer is, or the short answer is, we haven't figured it out yet. I think the ethos of Journeywoman though is free, and I'd like to keep it that way. Having come from marketing and branding and PR, I understand how a lot of content is produced and the kind of pay for play model that exists, and but I also see a lot of travel websites that are just full of ads, and I think that not only dilutes the experience of reading the website, but it just, I don't know, there's an inauthenticity about it where when you're reading something, and even if it says sponsored content, you wonder if it's really real. And so we'll have to figure out what the model is for this, because there are costs associated, obviously, with doing this and with writing content and sending out newsletters. There are hard costs that you can't ignore, which is why we need the sponsors to help us with the newsletters, but and the website and other things. But haven't figured it out yet. But I think right now I just see this as a really important investment, and we have to do certain things to get this this brand, this business to a new place. And so I'm willing to invest in it. I sold my house last year,
Which is now paying for Journeywoman.
which is and some people might think that's crazy, but I am one of those people who has planned ahead, and I'm comfortable. I am comfortable doing this, even though probably some people think that's a little bit nuts. But I do believe in service to women, and I do believe in doing that regardless of, I'm not driven by profit. I'm driven by doing what the world needs, which I guess sounds a little bit, airy-fairy, but
You're very different than me. It's all about the money, baby.
I know. Yeah, no, I'm committed to this, and I will do whatever it takes to make Journeywoman successful, and to not have the people who are reading this and taking their time to read it, and that are investing in the commenting and giving us, like, this is for you.
Well, this would be interesting, since we're live, to invite people to give ideas, suggestions on what they think
Yeah.
What they would like, and in order to ensure that Journeywoman can continue. I mean, you're good for the next while, but
Yeah,
for
a few weeks.
but down the road, like, what do you think what would you want to pay for? What would you be comfortable paying for? What would you not be comfortable paying for? Do you want to see ads on Journeywoman? What don't you want to see? I think it'd be interesting.
There are a few on there now, which are, we haven't taken off.
Well, that's just because you can't.
Yeah, there's that. But those are offering discounted, benefits for Journeywoman members, which I think is good. I think if you get a discount, and then that is worthwhile. But yeah, it's not. I don't see this as a big. I don't want to have all kinds of ads all over the place.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm more interested in the content and the integrity of the content.
Okay. Oh, where are you off to next? Well, you already told me because I was listening.
Yeah. So Alex has a little break next week. She's doing exams right now, and so we're going to go down to. She's not been to the Florida Keys, which is one of my most favorite places, and I did a literary tour there recently, and there's so many great writers that live there. In fact, I just found out that Judy Blume has a bookstore down there, so we're gonna go see that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do you hear me, God? It's me, Margaret.
Yeah. So and of course I gave Alex all her books when she was growing up because they had such an influence on me. So we're going to do that. We're going to go to Miami. We're a little bit of fun, a little bit of tourism, and then the Puerto Rico trip, which I mentioned. And then we're starting to think about next year. So open to ideas for next year. But I'd like to go some places that I haven't been, and some places that need tourism dollars.
Okay. So that's interesting here. I think there's one more question or a couple of questions that I want to get to here. Okay. Hold on.
Someone's calling you.
No, it's okay. I'm busy. Okay, so Twilight was asking again, does Journeywoman sell any product?
Yes, Twilight. Great questions.
Oh, it's my daughter. Can you just stop?
Oh, sure.
Go ahead.
Okay. So we would like to. And so that's part of what we're thinking about now is how could we sell some merchandise that would be both inspirational and empowering. So we're looking at a number of things, and I would just say stay tuned because I love that, as I said, the luggage tags, and there's all kinds of things that I think could be really interesting and the mark of a Journeywoman,
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
It was my daughter. I had to take the call.
I understand.
Okay.
My daughter has not called me.
This is multitasking. Okay. All right. What's this? Hold on. I have something here. Linda was suggesting a paid breakfast series for educational purposes. I guess that for in how to fund Journeywoman. Remember we were saying, does anybody have
paid breakfast?
Perhaps a paid breakfast series for educational
that's
purposes.
an interesting idea.
So having events is basically.
I have not thought of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great. I have been thinking about organizing some meetups.
Mm-hmm.
I did a tour of a walking tour of Toronto on the weekend, and I thought that might be something fun to do together. But
people are all over the world. I mean, that is your blessing and your curse. So you're going to have to do a meetup in Taiwan and a meetup in Puerto Rico, and then
exactly.
It's you've got the whole world to play with.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Or we create kind of Journeywoman chapters and look for women to get together. I think if we could have a forum where women can get together, that would be amazing.
Okay. Wait. It says sorry. Here's the correct comment. Perhaps a paid breakfast series for educational purposes. Yeah. We get that. We get that. It's great. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the idea of experiential opportunities that you can charge money for.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Anywhere and
yeah,
everywhere.
I'm open to any and all ideas.
Okay.
I don't think we figured this one out yet.
Well, you never can totally figure that out because I mean, the beauty of having a platform where, do you have a purpose? Like, what is Journeywoman's mandate?
We've written, I've written a bit of a manifesto. I think we're still playing with that a little bit, but it is about authenticity.
That's the one word.
Yep.
Is the word travel in there somewhere?
Oh yeah, I mean, yes. But I mean, the idea behind it is authenticity. So keeping things real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's great. Which is why we're filming in your kitchen.
Yes.
Because, so I'm going to tell you a little something. We're wrapping up
We
here.
have a lot of your mom's
That's right.
things around here too.
Because when my mom's apartment had to be emptied, I invited Carolyn and I said, take whatever you want. And so she took boxes of stuff, and I have a few memories, one of which was pretty cute. You and your boyfriend Tom, who's so cute and smart, they're sprawled on the floor in her empty bedroom, surrounded by boxes and boxes of travel books.
Yeah,
And
a lot of books.
Literally went through and said, we'll take this one, we won't take this one. I was just going to get rid of them all. And for you, they were gold. For me, they were garbage, right?
Well, a lot of them weren't just travel books. They were books about women. I mean, I have, you can see in here 5 or 6 of them, beautiful books. Not just women. There's women of discovery, but there's women of style. There's all kinds of things in here, and we have some red glasses. We have your mother's red cape and beret,
And her shoes.
some photographs, and what else is in here? Chopsticks. And
Basically,
just
your
a
house,
few things.
Yeah, the
you know.
house is filled with my mom, which is
Well, I
really
think
special.
She's here, and she's also she lives on in the community. So so yeah.
So thank you so much. Thank you for taking this on. Not this particular conversation, but thank you for taking on the legacy of my mom, because there is no one else on the planet that I could think of who would bring such heart and integrity to
Thank
this. You know, and I think that I'm sure she is smiling on us. I'm sure she's really smiling the fact that it's us together. And I'm not really involved on it, like in this. I'm more of like, I'm Evelyn's daughter. That's how I'm involved. Well, you're looking at me like I'm nuts.
You are and you aren't. I value your opinion, and that's why you've been involved throughout.
Yeah,
So
but
you've been doing this.
but it's fun for me because I get to watch from afar, and then you say, come and take a look, and then but you do listen to my feedback.
I do,
and with absolute fear in your eyes. Anyway, anything else that you want to talk about that we haven't covered?
I just want to thank everyone for being so welcoming and warm, and giving us a little time to figure things out and get organized and kind of get our act together. So I think the new website we think will be up in the early part of next year.
Really?
And
That's so fast.
but there's a lot of work to do. So just bear with us as we go through that, and keep sending in your tips, and keep participating, and I'll do everything I can to bring all your expertise and ideas to life, and to share them with the rest of the community. So just thank you.
From your heart, I can
Yeah.
tell. From your heart. She's gonna cry now.
No.
Okay. I might. Okay. Let's say goodbye. Thanks to everybody for watching and contributing. And by the way, you can share this now. You know that, right? Like everybody can go when we say goodbye. They can share this on their Facebook pages so their friends can see it.
Well, we want to grow the community, and we want to help more women. So if you want to share it, yes, please do. Yeah.
Peace.